Now we come to the last of the Vedic darshanas, the Vedānta, the most important of or the most popular of the darshanas or philosophical systems of India. Just to remind you, the Vedānta tradition focuses itself on the Upanishadic part of the Veda, and the foundational text of all Vedanta. There are different types of or schools of Vedanta, sub-schools let us say of Vedanta, but for all of them the foundational texts are three texts called the Prasthana-traya, and these are the Upanishad, the Brahma Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita. So what these Upanishads are, I am sure you already have an introduction. They are the concluding parts of the Veda, which contain the some account of the self, Brahman, etc. The Brahma Sutra are a set of philosophical sutras authored by Badarayana Vyasa, around some 500 odd sutras. Just like every other darshana has a sutra text like Yoga Sutra, Mimamsa Sutra, etc. Vedanta also has a sutra text which is called the Brahma Sutra, authored by Badarayana, and the Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata. So these three form the foundational text for all the Vedantic traditions, and the label given to these three are called Prasthana-traya. There are several sub-schools of Vedanta. The prominent among them, which we will be discussing in this module, are the Advaita Vedanta, which was the most popular proponent of this is Shankaracharya, though it had some existence before Shankaracharya also. The second one is Vishishta Advaita, which was founded or propounded by Ramanujacharya, and Dvaita Vedanta, which was propounded by Madhvacharya. So these are the three most important traditions. Apart from this, there are other traditions also like Shuddha Advaita, Dvaita Advaita, etc. But in this we will be seeing these three. But the common feature or the common problem that all of these Vedantas try to answer is, what is the relationship between Jiva and Brahma? So if you want to put it in some mathematical way, Jiva is to Brahman is as to what. So that is the answer or that is the question which all of these people try and answer. Now let us now look at some of the key features of Advaita Vedanta, the first of these. According to Advaita Vedanta, the Jiva is to Brahman is as A is to A. So what is the relation that A has to A? It is identity. So the answer that the Advaita Vedanta gives to the question, what is the relationship between Jiva and Brahma, is that Jiva is identical to Brahman. There is no distinction at all. So this is the answer that they give to the question. And they say that this identity is veiled by something called as Maya or Avidya. We are ignorant that we are Brahman. And because of this, we fall into the samsara chakra or the cycle of birth and death and get attached to objects. But once we remove this veil of ignorance, we will know that there is no two different entities. There is only one entity called Brahman. So when this veil is dropped, when this ignorance is removed, that state where the Jiva realizes that it is nothing but Brahman, that state is called moksha. The main proponent of Advaita Vedanta is Shankaracharya, who lived around the 8th century. But before him, Gaudapadacharya, who is Shankaracharya's teacher's teacher, he is also supposed to have written some important work, the Mandukya Karika, based on which Shankaracharya himself took the theory further. Now coming to a few details about Advaita Vedanta, it tries to distinguish between the world as we know it and the world as what it really is. The world as we know it, Advaita Vedanta calls it Vyavaharika Satta or transactional reality. Why I say it is transactional reality is that it's always like transactional in the sense that it is temporary. The word used to describe this transactional reality is mithya or false. Please note that I have not said unreal, it is false, right? It is different from saying that it is not real. It is not real, but at the same time it is not unreal also. To give you a simple analogy to understand this somewhat abstract concept, you can compare it with a dream. So can you say that the dream is real? No, it is not real. No tiger is jumping on me just like I dreamed, or no, I am not flying in the sky like I dreamed or something like that. But at the same time, the dream is not unreal also, when the tiger was jumping on me, I suddenly woke up, and when I woke up there was all sweat on my face or something like that. So how can something which is unreal cause sweat, and how can it cause me to wake up? So I cannot call it completely unreal. At the same time I cannot call it real also, because I am in the safety of my house, and hopefully there is no tiger jumping on me in my house. So in the same way, the world that we see cannot be described as real, nor can we say that it is unreal. It is something which is transactional. What is true today will not be there tomorrow. You may think that there are entities, oh, the earth is going around the sun for billions of years, that is supposed to be there. No, at some point in time the sun will become some red giant star, and the earth will be subsumed or will be absorbed inside it or something like that. So when Advaita says that something should be real today, it should be real tomorrow also. When it says tomorrow, it does not mean in our day to day meaning of the sense tomorrow. It means at an infinite time period also it should be real. So this is the nature of our reality that we see around us over here. But the actual nature of reality, that it terms as Paramarthika Satta or transcendental reality, it is something which is true for all the three times. It is not Mithya, it is Sat. So in the word Satyameva Jayate, that word Sat which appears is used in this sense of the word Sat. So that reality is true for all the three times, and by definition there is only one thing which can be true for all three times, which is Brahman. That is the only thing which is unchanging for all three times. Please remember that when I say all three times, past, present and future, I am not talking about day to day time scales. I am not even referring to evolutionary time scales. I am not even referring to even cosmic time scales. Much beyond that, it should be something which is not changing along even greater time scales than the cosmic time scales. And this Brahman is essentially Nirguna. Nirguna means Nirguna, without gunas or without attributes. So remember what will happen if there are gunas. So I am here, I am wearing this shirt. So if I describe myself like this, there are two entities. There is me, and then there is the shirt that, or the kurta that I am wearing, that the dress I am wearing. Similarly, if you say that there is Brahman and there are some properties of Brahman, you have two entities. But the word Advaita Vedānta or Advaita itself says that there is no duality, there is only singular thing called Brahman. So the ultimate reality is something which is Nirguna. It does not have any attributes, it does not have a name, it does not have a form or any such things. Of course, you can have certain depiction of it which is called Saguna Brahman, like some god figure etc. You can make with 4 arms or 3 arms or 2 arms, whatever it is, you can make like that, which will be the Saguna Brahman or the attributive or attributed Brahman. But essentially the real nature of Brahman is that it is Nirguna. So in order to realize this Brahman and achieve moksha, which is the identity between Jiva and Brahman, Shankaracharya prescribes a 2-step procedure which can be broadly spoken of as a 2-step procedure. Firstly, we engage in worldly activities as prescribed by the Veda to purify our mind. For Chitta Shuddhi, we engage in certain Vedic karma in order to purify ourselves, and then hopefully we go to a teacher and engage in this process of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Shravana is to hear, so we hear the Upanishadic truths from our teacher, and then we sit and meditate upon them, remove all the doubts that we have about the teachings that we have heard, that is Manana. And then we do Nididhyasana, we contemplate upon this, we realize the truth. So the knowledge that Jiva is the same as Brahman, it is not the same kind of knowledge as a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square etc. It is not something which you can just know and then say that yeah now I know that Jiva and Brahman are equal, now I have moksha, like that. It is not something you can say like that. It is an experiential knowledge. You have to experience that you are Brahman. So that happens at the end of this 3-stage process, Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. But notice what I am saying here, you will become Brahman, or somebody, when supposing I say you will realize that you are Brahman, it is something of a quirk of language that we say that we will attain moksha. It is as if something will happen and therefore after that we will get moksha. But according to Advaita, it is not a becoming, it is not an event that will happen. It is already there. You are already in the state of moksha. It is only that you are veiled by ignorance or maya or avidya, because of which you are not able to realize that you are already in the state of moksha. So moksha according to Advaita Vedanta cannot be a becoming. It is not an event or process that will happen. It is a state of being. It is already there. We just have to remove the ignorance that is blinding us. To give another mundane example to do this, some people misplace their glasses. They keep it somewhere over there and then they go and search it. They go and search it and then finally they wear it. This is one kind of missing. Some other people are there who put their glasses on their forehead and then they search the entire room, or where is my glasses, etc. So they already know where the glasses are already upon them. Okay, they are already wearing their glasses, but they have just forgotten that it is just on their forehead. So the relationship between the jiva and the avidya is something like that. The jiva is already in the state of moksha. Just like the person already is wearing the spectacles, they have just forgotten, or they are just veiled by Maya, that they are already Brahman. So in the same way, this person has to just unveil the ignorance that that person is already wearing the glasses and then has to put it on. So in this way, the jiva, which is already in the state of moksha, just has to remove the cover of ignorance, and that in that state the jiva can be called in the state of moksha. So this is a very brief introduction to Advaita Vedanta.